Who has kittens for fists and is from a 2012 cartoon? If your answer is Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls, then nice. I'm sculpting her today out of polymer clay. Mabel's bones will be made out of armature wire with the torso wrapped in tinfoil. I'll coat her in a layer of clay, not worrying too much about the exact shape since Mabel will be wearing one of her trademark puffy fluffy sweaters. Something I'm hoping to improve upon from my last videos will be the level of smoothness for the sculpture, as well as the blending of the clothing wrinkles and folds. Her sweater won't have much detail, so I'm going all in on trying to make this look like smooth, cozy fabric, hoping that hours and hours of effort here will compensate for the lack of intricacy in her outfit. This mostly consists of wrapping her arms and torso in ropes of clay that then get blended smooth into the pre-baked body. I saw Ace of Clay using his finger to blend his sculptures smooth, so I'm emulating that technique here in hopes to learn as much as I can. My cat Lewis made sure to keep me extra good company throughout the entire process. I'll finish up the main torso wrinkles and then get started on her skirt. Mabel's skirt starts out as a flat sheet of clay that then gets cut and shaped until adequately skirt-like. There were a few raggedy bits on the back, but since I'll be adding lots of folds soon, I don't mind leaving it in an imperfect state of, this'll do. To create an effect like the skirt is whirling in motion with her punch, I'll add some wads of aluminum foil in two different spots to hold the clay shape while I pre-bake it in the oven. Once it's hard, I'll add ropes of clay wherever it feels appropriate, and then blend those in until everything is acceptably uniform. To bulk out her oversized sweater base, I'll add extra thick ropes of clay, and then I'll repeat the blending process until the sweater is finally finished. At this point, I never want to see a little clay worm again for the rest of my life, but all I have to do is add a few little ones to her shoes, and then we're finished. Well, almost. I've never sculpted a human head before, so I start by carving a plus sign on the face because I think I saw someone do that once. Then I'll poke and prod and carve until I have a basic humanoid shape that I can stab a couple eye holes into. Pre-baked eyeballs get popped into the sockets, and then we can get cracking on making the face more face-like, especially once I remember that humans have eyebrows. That will almost certainly cause difficulty later. Mabel's mouth is going to be opened wide in a yell of bravery, and bravery requires some teeth. I tried to make the muscles in her neck tense to show the effort that she's exerting, and then I can pop the head onto the body so that I can start adding some quick and easy hair, making sure to not forget her signature tuft. Some quick final texturizing, a sad cracked knee from the final bake, and that's the sculpture finished and ready for painting. I'll start out with a deep dark shade of purple that will get redone later off camera. Her leggings will be painted black and her hair will become brown via a series of brown washes. Those of you who've seen Gravity Falls know that Mabel loves pink, and this sweater is one of her pinkest. Alongside my gradient of pinks, I've concocted my own purple wash in an old hot sauce container for that added spice. Even with the white primer, making her sweater pink took probably a dozen coats of that pink paint, which honestly was probably for the best since the layers probably helped cover up any fingerprints or unblended bits. And fully pink. Now we'll paint her face. It took me way too long to figure out why she looked so horrific for many hours of this project. Some of it was obvious, like this. Adding detail in the eyes definitely helped. Same with adding teeth, then giving her braces, and then deciding that it just looked a little bit like tooth decay and covering them back up. But the main thing for me was once again forgetting that humans have eyebrows. Figuring this out took way longer than it should have, especially since I myself have the big bushy eyebrows of a cartoon character. I'll do a quick paint of her boots, making sure to start painting the laces orange, then repainting them in black. Then I can break out my hot sauce bottle again for the purple wash to finish up her sweater, trying to get as thin and even a layer as possible. As the final touch to her sweater, I'll add a setting sun in the center. And then, some UV resin in her eyes finishes Mabel so that I can get started on the important parts, her fists. I'm terrible at making hands, so this is the perfect project. Each kitten starts out as two puffy cheeks and a nose. I'll blend the features in, not worrying too much about the details since I'll be turning this all into fur texture later. Gigantic eyeballs get plopped into place, and then the left kitten gets a little tongue. I'll poke some whisker holes and then start adding the fur texture, making sure to use references from real life to keep me on track. Ears make the cat head seem much more cat-like, and then I can get started in on the other fist. This one will be screaming as it's rocketed out of Mabel's sleeve, so I start out with a cavernous maw, a wild tongue, and then some surprisingly sharp pre-baked teeth that I definitely never broke and had to glue back into place. After a pink priming, I'll paint each kitten with a darker pink, then adding some markings and fur patterns with my spicy purple wash. Each eye then gets painted yellow, and the mouth, tongue, and nose all get touched up with a lighter fleshy pink, followed by a red wash in the open mouth. I'll give each eye a pupil, and then paint the teeth a toothy white before using my almost white pink to add some ear fur and highlight some raised areas on the kittens' faces. Each eye, mouth, and tongue gets a touch of UV resin to make them nice and shiny, and then we can put it all together. My plan is to have one kitten loaded and ready in the left fist, while the other is being blasted off at an unseen assailant. For our loaded kitten, I'll cover up the connecting seam with felt and then hold it in place with glue. To give the exploded kitten the illusion of flight, I'll use a piece of acrylic rod attached with UV resin. To make the explosion effect, I'm going to try using colored felt and UV resin to hold it in place. Making this whirlwind effect using felt was much more difficult than I anticipated, and I think the next time that I make an explosion effect, I'll have to find another way. Especially when I added the UV resin to hold it into place. It was like herding cats to get the strands to cooperate. However, once it was hardened, it worked exactly how it needed to, and I was able to slide it into place on the acrylic rod and then attach it directly onto Mabel's other fist. I'll trim off the stray hairs and then make her a base to stand on. After forgetting in a prior video to film myself using the static grass applicator, I decided to make Mabel standing on another grassy hill. Adding static grass was a blast, but I definitely need more practice. It seemed a little bare, so off camera I'll make an aspen log with eerie knothole eyes and a little mushroom. But for this project, we'll add one last leaf, and it's done! Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I hope that you liked it, and I'll see you next time.